I never wanted to tell this story to anyone. I thought if I kept it inside, the pain would stay smaller. But after everything that happened, I can't carry it alone anymore. My name doesn't matter. What matters is what I did, or what I failed to do. For nearly 2 decades, I convinced myself that every sacrifice was for one reason: to give my son the best life possible. I was a single mother climbing the ladder in a demanding corporate job. Late nights, weekend deadlines, international calls at odd hours, I took it all. I told myself, this is temporary. One day we'll have financial security, a beautiful home. I believed success was the greatest gift a mother could give. When he was born, I promised he would never lack anything. But I went back to work too soon. His first smile? I saw it in photos. His first steps? My mother called to tell me while I was on a conference call. As he grew, the pattern repeated. He would draw pictures of our family, me always with a phone. He would ask, Ammi, can we go to the park? And I would say, this weekend, Veda. But weekends were for work. I compensated with expensive gifts. He thanked me politely, but his eyes asked for something else: time, attention, me sitting beside him without rushing. I ignored those eyes. I was wrong. Every missed bedtime story, every lonely dinner. I was building a future on paper while our present was emptying out. But as the years passed, the distance only grew. By the time he entered school properly, the pattern was already set. I remember his first parent-teacher meeting. I sent my sister because I had a client presentation that couldn't be rescheduled. The teacher praised his intelligence, his kindness, but also mentioned he seemed a little withdrawn, like he carried something heavy. I laughed it off when my sister told me. He's just shy, I said. He'll be fine. But deep inside, a small voice whispered that I was the reason for that wait. He started bringing home report cards with shining grades. I would frame them, post them proudly. But when he tried to show me a science project he built, a small volcano that actually erupted, I was on a call. I waved him to wait, finished the call 20 minutes later, and by then he had already cleaned it up alone. He said, "It's okay, Ammi, it was just a toy thing." That sentence hurt more than any argument ever could. He learned early not to expect my full attention. As he turned 10, 11, 12, the requests changed. No more parks. Now it was, Ammi, can you come to the school sports day? I promised yes, but a sudden meeting came up. I sent videos from a colleague's phone instead. He never complained loudly, but he stopped inviting me to things. He started spending more time in his room, on his phone, with friends who were always there. I told myself it's normal for boys his age. I was fooling myself. One evening I came home late again and found him sitting at the dining table alone. He looked up and said quietly, Ammi, do you remember my birthday is next week? I froze. I had forgotten completely. On his birthday I was there, but checking emails under the table. He blew out the candles, smiled, but didn't look excited. That night he hugged me and whispered, "Thanks for coming, Ammi." Those words felt like a knife. I started noticing changes. He became more independent, too independent. He cooked simple meals, did his homework alone. I praised his maturity, but maturity born from neglect isn't a victory. It's a survival skill. He was learning to live without needing me. And I let it happen because my inbox, my targets, my promotions felt more urgent. I didn't realize then that every time I chose work over him, I was choosing a future without him in it. The boy who once ran to me with open arms was slowly walking away, and I was too busy to chase after him. And then came the teenage years, when the silence turned into something much harder to ignore. The real heartbreak was still waiting. The teenage years hit like a storm I never saw coming. He was no longer the little boy who waited at the door. Now he was tall, quiet, always with earphones in, answering in short sentences. "How was school?" I'd ask when I finally got home after 10 p.m. "Fine," he'd say without looking up from his phone. I pushed harder, scolded him for low attendance, for not studying enough. I thought tough love would fix it. But every argument ended the same way, him walking away to his room, door closing softly, and me left standing in the hallway feeling like the villain in my own house. One night stands out painfully. He came home late from a friend's place, maybe 11 p.m. I was furious. "Where were you? Do you know how worried I was?" I shouted. He looked at me calmly, almost coldly. He said, "Worried? You weren't even home when I left at 6. You texted 'be safe' and that was it." I had no answer. He was right. I was angry because he was doing what I had trained him to do, live without me. That night he said something that still echoes. "Ammi, sometimes I feel like I'm the parent waiting for you to come home." I cried alone in my room after that. But the next morning, I went back to work like nothing happened. He stopped sharing anything personal. No more stories about crushes, no complaints about teachers, no dreams about the future. I told myself he was just being a teenager, but I knew better. I had pushed him so far away that he built walls to protect himself. He became excellent at hiding pain. Good grades on the surface, polite behavior, but inside, empty. I kept chasing promotions, got one big one. I came home excited, told him we'd celebrate with a fancy dinner out. He smiled weakly and said, "That's great, Ammi, I'm happy for you." But he didn't hug me like before. That celebration dinner, we ordered food in. We ate in silence, me scrolling emails, him on his phone. I didn't even notice how thin he looked, how pale. I was too busy feeling proud of providing. Then small signs started appearing. He got tired easily, said he had headaches, skipped meals sometimes. "Just stress from exams," he'd say. I bought him vitamins, told him to rest, but never sat down to really talk. I thought time would fix it. Time was the one thing running out. One afternoon I came home early. I found him asleep on the couch, curled up like a child. His face looked so young, so fragile. I sat beside him, touched his forehead. No fever, but something felt wrong. When he woke, he smiled faintly and said, "Ammi, you're home early." I laughed nervously. "Yes," surprise. He added quietly, "I wish it happened more." That sentence broke something in me. I promised myself I'd change, but promises came too late. I didn't know then that those headaches, that tiredness, were the first whispers of something much worse. The storm I thought was teenage rebellion was actually the beginning of goodbye. And when the truth came, it shattered everything I had left. The hospital changed everything forever. One ordinary Tuesday afternoon, the call came from a school. The nurse said he collapsed during games period, fainted, wouldn't wake up properly. They rushed him to emergency. I dropped everything mid-meeting, phone shaking in my hand as I drove like mad to the hospital. Doctors ran tests. Hours later, the senior doctor sat me down. His face was grave. "It's leukemia. Advanced. Aggressive type. He's very weak already. We can try treatment, but time is short. Months, maybe less." Months. The word felt like a slap. I stared at him blankly. My mind screamed no, this can't be real. But it was. I quit my job that same evening. Emailed my resignation from the hospital corridor. No 2-week notice, no handover, nothing. My boss called shocked, "Are you sure?" I said yes without hesitation. For the first time in 19 years, work didn't matter. Nothing mattered except him. I moved into his hospital room like it was my home. Brought his favorite blanket from our house, his old childhood teddy bear he pretended he didn't still keep. I sat by his bed every second the nurses allowed. When he was awake, I talked nonstop, trying to fill every empty year with words. I told him stories from when he was baby, how he laughed at rain, how he loved hiding in my dupatta, how I sang him lullabies even though my voice was terrible. I showed him every old photo on my phone. "Look, Beta, remember this picnic? We promised more." He listened quietly. I apologized endlessly. I'm so sorry I wasn't there for your first sports day. Sorry I missed your science fair. Sorry I came home late every night. Sorry I let you eat alone. Sorry I chose emails over bedtime hugs. He would squeeze my hand softly and whisper, "It's okay, Ammi. You were working hard." But his eyes told the truth. Those words couldn't undo the loneliness I caused. I begged him to be angry, to shout at me, to let it out. He never did. He just said, "I know you love me." That hurt worse than anger ever could. That last night, the room was quiet except for the soft beeping of machines and his shallow breathing. I was sitting right beside him, holding his thin hand in both of mine, stroking his fingers the way I used to when he was a baby. The lights were low, nurses came and went like shadows. I didn't sleep, I just watched him, memorizing every line of his face, afraid that if I blinked he would be gone. He opened his eyes slowly around 2 a.m., looked at me with so much calm love despite the pain. His voice was barely a whisper, weak but clear enough to cut through my soul forever. He said, "Ammi, Ammi, it's okay. You worked so hard all those years for me. I know you loved me, but I just wanted you, not the big house we never got, not the money in the bank, not the gifts. I just wanted you sitting with me like this, just you." He squeezed my hand one last time, gave the faintest smile, then closed his eyes. The machines changed their rhythm. The doctor came. Time of death was called. He was gone. 19 years of my life ended in that one whispered sentence. I just wanted you. Those 6 words, they replay in my head every single night. They wake me up crying. They follow me everywhere. I just wanted you. I gave him everything the world says matters, security, education, things, but I forgot the only thing that can't be replaced, time, my presence, my love shown every day, not just in the end. I sit here now in this empty house. The silence is deafening. His room is untouched. His clothes still smell like him. I look at photos and see a boy who smiled even when he was lonely. I see a mother who was always somewhere else. I wasted 19 years chasing a future that meant nothing without him in it. If you're watching this and you have children, please listen to me. Put the phone down, close the laptop early, go home before dark, sit with them, ask about their day, hug them without reason, play with them, listen when they talk. Be there. Don't wait for a hospital bed or a goodbye to realize what truly matters. Work will always be there. Money can be earned again. But the years with your child, once gone, they're gone forever. To every parent who thinks, "I'll make it up later," there might not be a later. Don't let your child feel invisible while you're busy succeeding. Love isn't in bank balances. Love is in the small, everyday moments. Be present today. Tell them you love them today, because one day they might whisper back, "I just wanted you," and it will be too late to reply. My son, wherever you are now, I love you more than words, more than anything. I'm so sorry I learned it too late. I hope someone hears this and saves their family from my regret.